chaos, Vera's hand shot out toward the entry table. Her fingers closed around Marcus's keys, the heavy ring with its collection of familiar and unfamiliar brass. The metal was warm, as if it had absorbed his body heat. Marcus moved faster than she'd ever seen him move, his hand clamped round her wrist like a vice, all pretense evaporating in an instant. The caring husband, the concerned partner, that mask didn't just slip, it shattered completely. Give them back. His voice was low, dangerous, stripped of any warmth. His fingers ground into the delicate bones of her wrist, hard enough to leave bruises, hard enough to make her gasp. Marcus, what the hell? Diane tried to wedge herself between them, but Marcus's free hand shoved her aside. Not gently. The keys, Vera. Now let go of her. Diane recovered her balance. Phone already in hand. I'm calling the police. Those seconds stretched like pulled taffy. Vera could see Marcus calculating, his eyes darting between her face, the keys, Diane's phone. She watched him decide, saw the moment he realized he'd revealed too much, gone too far. His grip loosened fractionally. It was enough. Vera wrenched, free, and ran. Behind her, Dion's scream mixed with Marcus' roar of fury. Her supposedly injured ankle worked perfectly as she sprinted through the front door across the lawn. Keys clutched so tight they cut into her palm. Marcus' truck sat in the driveway like a waiting accomplice. She didn't look back, jamming the key into the ignition. The engine roared to life as Marcus burst from the house. In the rearview mirror, she saw him racing toward Dion's Honda, saw her sister trying to block his path, saw him shove her aside. Again, the truck tires squealed as Vera reversed wildly, clipping the mailbox. Then she was accelerating down their quiet suburban street, speedometer climbing past every legal limit. Her phone was already at her ear. 911 dialed with one shaking hand while the other wrestled the wheel. The house on Elm Street, 1847, Elman Millbrook. My daughter is there, Ruby Caldwell. She's been there for 12 years. My husband has her, please. You have to send everyone. Ma'am, is this the same? Yes, she screamed into the phone, blowing through a red light. Same caller, same address, but I'm going there now. He's coming, too. He's right behind me. She's in the basement. I know she is. Units are en route, ma'am, but you need to wait. Vera threw the phone onto the passenger seat. 43 minutes in normal traffic, but normal was for people whose daughters hadn't been stolen, hadn't been kept like prisoners for over a decade. She knew Marcus' shortcuts. He'd driven them enough times, thinking she wasn't paying attention. But she knew the back roads, too. The ways around construction zones and traffic lights. 25 minutes. That's all it took. Driving like death itself. Was chasing her. Maybe it was. Elm Street materialized in the growing dusk, the sick house squatting at its end. The brass padlock gleamed on the gate, but Vera didn't slow down. The truck smashed through in an explosion of metal and chain link, the gate wrapping around the front bumper with a shriek. She kept going, ramming into the front porch steps before killing the engine. The reinforced front door might as well have been made of paper. Adrenaline gave her superhuman strength. When it wouldn't yield to her shoulder, she grabbed a garden spade from the overgrown yard, its handle rough with rust and neglect. The front window shattered under her assault, safety glass cascading inward. Ruby, she screamed through the broken window. Ruby, it's Mummy. She cleared the glass with the spade and climbed through, dropping into a living room that looked disturbingly normal. Dated furniture, clean surfaces, a TV from the early 2000s, like a time capsule. But the industrial deadbolts on every interior door told a different story. Kitchen. She moved on instinct, finding a space that should have been ordinary, but felt like a facade. Everything to clean, to organized. And there, a door that should have led to a pantry, but sported 3 heavy deadbolts, all engaged. From below, muffled by walls and distance, she heard movement. A voice, young and terrified. "Daddy." The world tilted. Vera's hands shook as she attacked the locks, but they were designed to keep people in, not out. She needed the keys, Marcus keys. She still had them, clutched so tight, her fingers had gone numb. The brass keys slid home, tumblers clicking open. One by one, the door swung inward, revealing stairs descending into darkness. A basement that felt wrong, that shouldn't exist beneath this ordinary house. The smell hit her, industrial cleaner over something else, something human and desperate. "Dad, I was good. I didn't make noise." That voice higher than she remembered, but with the same cadence, the same slight lisp on the S sounds. Vera flew down the stairs, finding another door at the bottom, this one with a small reinforced window. A face appeared in that window, and Vera's knees nearly buckled. 16 years old, blonde hair grown long and tangled, pale as paper from years without sun. But the eyes, those green eyes she'd counted the lashes on when Ruby was a baby, those were the same Ruby. "Oh God, Ruby, it's Mummy. I'm here to take you home." The girl, because she was a girl now, not the toddler stolen from their backyard, shrank back from the door. Fear twisted her features, the kind of bone-deep terror that came from years of conditioning. "I don't know you. Where's Daddy?" He said no one was allowed down here. "I've been good. I promise, I've been good." Vera's heart shattered. She attacked. The door with a spade, with splintering under her assault. Behind the door, Ruby cowered in the corner, hands over her ears, keening like a wounded animal. Heavy footsteps on the stairs. Marcus breathing hard, his face twisted with rage and something else, possessiveness. "You don't understand," he panted, reaching for her. "She's sick. She needs special care. I protected her from the world, from people who would hurt her. You stole her." Vera swung the spade in a wide arc, catching him across the temple. "You stole our baby." He staggered but didn't fall, blood running down his face. "She's mine. I saved her. I kept her safe." His hands reached for her throat, but sirens were screaming outside now. Police voices, boots on floorboards above. Marcus froze, looking between Vera and the door where Ruby huddled, and she saw him make one last calculation. "Ruby, remember what Daddy taught you," he called out. "Remember our lessons." Then the police were there, weapons drawn, shouting commands. Marcus dropped to his knees, hands behind his head, but his eyes never left the door, never left his prisoner. They had to cut the door open. Inside they found 12 years of horror disguised as care, a small bed with restraints, a chemical toilet, textbooks for homeschooling progressing from kindergarten through high school, bottles of pills, sedatives, antipsychotics, birth control, the Plan B packages used and discarded, and Ruby alive but shattered, asking why they were hurting her daddy, begging them to let him go, promising she'd been good. So good she hadn't tried to leave, even when the door was open, because, after 12 years, she'd forgotten there was anywhere else to go. The psychiatric wing of Millbrook General Hospital felt like another world. Sterile white walls, locked doors with reinforced glass, the distant sound of someone crying. Vera stood at the observation window, hands pressed against the cold surface, watching the stranger who was her daughter. Ruby sat on the narrow bed, knees drawn to her chest, arms wrapped tight around them. She rocked in a rhythm that seemed both soothing and desperate, still wearing the same clothes they'd found her in. A faded t-shirt that had been washed too many times, sweatpants that didn't quite reach her ankles anymore. Someone had tried to brush her tangled blonde hair, but she'd fought them off. She won't let any of the female staff near her, Dr. Patel, the trauma specialist, said softly beside Vera. Only male officers and doctors. She keeps asking when her father is coming to take her home, asking if she's in trouble for talking to strangers, meaning you and the police. Vera's throat constricted. She called him Daddy. Even when she was terrified, she called for him. Stockholm Syndrome in its most extreme form, combined with 12 years of conditioning, isolation, and Dr. Patel paused, choosing her words carefully. Complete psychological control. In her mind, Marcus isn't her captor, he's her protector. Her whole world. We're the threat. Detective Morrison approached, holding a tablet. She was a woman in her 50s, with kind eyes that had seen too much. Mrs. Caldwell, I need to show you some things we found. It's difficult, but it might help you understand what Ruby's been through. They moved to a small conference room. The detective pulled up images on the tablet. Not the worst ones, she assured quickly, just evidence they needed to discuss. A locked room on the second floor of the Elm Street house had yielded hundreds of photographs. Children at playgrounds, schools, public pools, all taken from a distance, all focusing on girls between the ages of 3 and 6. Some of these go back 20 years, Morrison said. Long before Ruby was born, we've checked. No other missing children match these photos. Your daughter appears to have been his only victim, but he was planning. Beer finished, nausea rising, waiting. His own daughter was the easiest target, already in his house, already trusting him. Morrison swiped to another screen. We found journals, detailed accounts, starting when Ruby was 2. He was already grooming her, teaching her that his attention was special, that secrets were normal. By the time he took her, she'd been programmed to accept it. The Plan B pills, finally, made their horrible sense. Morrison explained it clinically, but the reality was monstrous. Ruby had started menstruating at 11. Marcus couldn't risk pregnancy exposing his secret, so the monthly pharmacy trips began. He'd maintained her physical health meticulously, vitamins, regular meals, even exercise equipment in the basement, keeping his victim healthy while destroying her mind. He taught her himself. Morrison continued. We found textbooks, completed worksheets dating back years. She can read at a high school level, knows algebra, has beautiful handwriting, but she's never seen the ocean, never been to a movie, never had a friend. He convinced her the outside world was full of people who would hurt her, that only he could keep her safe. Through the conference room window, Vera could see uniformed officers leading Marcus down the hallway, shackled, wearing orange, but walking. With his head high, he saw her watching and smiled. Actually smiled like they were sharing a secret. His interrogation was Morrison shook her head. No remorse. He insists he loves her, that he protected her from a harsh world. He's described in detail how he drugged her juice that day, carried her to his truck while you were napping. The basement was already finished. He'd spent months soundproofing it, installing locks. He's the one who called 911 to report her missing, played the devastated father so perfectly that no one suspected. The night shifts, all those years of Marcus leaving after dinner, claiming server maintenance that couldn't wait. He'd spend hours in that basement, then come home and slide into bed beside Vera like nothing had happened. The violation of it, of sleeping next to him, eating breakfast with him, grieving with him while he knew exactly where Ruby was, made her want to scream. "There's more," Morrison said gently. The brass key on his keyring opened a safety deposit. Box USB drives with dots. She paused. More evidence, photos, videos, enough to ensure he never walks free. "I won't describe them, but you should know they exist." For the trial, David had been contacted in Thailand. Marcus's brother was horrified, had flown back immediately. He'd trusted Marcus completely, signed power of attorney documents without reading them, never imagining they'd be used to hide a kidnapped child. The legal complexities would take years to untangle, but David had already hired lawyers to transfer everything to Vera to help however he could. "Can I see her?" Vera asked. "Can I try?" Dr. Patel hesitated. "We can try, but please understand, she doesn't remember you. She was 4 when taken. In her mind, her mother is dead. Marcus told her, you went to heaven, that you're watching from above, but can never come back." They walked back to Ruby's room together. Through the window, a male nurse was bringing her lunch. She ate mechanically, eyes downcast, answering his gentle questions in monosyllables. When he left, she returned to her position on the bed, knees up, rocking. Vera entered slowly, Dr. Patel beside her. Ruby's head snapped up, green eyes wide with fear. "Hello, Ruby," Vera said, her voice breaking. I know who you are." Ruby's voice was different now, 16 years old, but with a strange flatness. "You're the lady from the basement, the one who hurt Daddy." "Ruby, I'm your mother." Ruby shook her head violently. "My mother is dead. Daddy told me she went to heaven when I was little." Her eyes narrowed, studying Vera's face. "Are you an angel? Am I dead too? Is that why everything feels wrong?" Vera's knees nearly buckled. Dr. Patel steadied her, whispering to go slow. Vera sat in the visitor's chair, keeping distance between them, making herself small and non-threatening. "You're not dead, sweetheart. And I'm not an angel. I'm your mum, and I've been looking for you for 12 years. Every single day, I've been looking. Daddy said you stopped loving me. That's why you went to heaven. That's not true. I never stopped loving you. Not for 1 second." Ruby was silent, processing. Then, in a smaller voice, "When is Daddy coming back?" The question shattered what remained of Vera's heart. Dr. Patel stepped in, explaining gently that Ruby would be staying here for a while, that her daddy had to go away. Ruby's keening wail could be heard 3 rooms down. Later, after sedation, after Ruby finally slept, Dr. Patel walked Vera out. The prognosis was guarded, but not hopeless. Years of therapy lay ahead. Possible regression, learning to exist in a world she'd been taught to fear. Trust would come slowly, if at all. Ruby might never fully recover the childhood stolen from her, might always struggle with what was real and what was Marcus's programming. "But she's young," Dr. Patel said. "The brain is still plastic at 16, and she's physically healthy thanks to his twisted care. There's hope, hope. Such a small word for such an enormous journey." Vera returned the next day and the next, sitting outside Ruby's room, sometimes allowed in for a few minutes. On the 4th day, Ruby asked a question about the world outside. On the 7th, she let Vera sit closer. On the 10th, when Vera held out her hand, Ruby stared at it for a long moment before reaching out with one finger, touching briefly before pulling back. It was barely anything. A fingertip touch lasting. Less than a second. It was everything. It was a beginning.